Hi, I'm Maren and welcome back to my channel, Maren Makes It. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how I low light my own hair at home. Recently, I was just looking into getting balayage highlights done because my highlights are obviously a little bit grown out, and I realized it's $200 they were trying to charge me for that. And I mean, I'm not surprised. My hair is very long. It goes almost down to my belly button height right here, but I was like, I don't have $200, and especially for something I know how to do myself at home. I have been doing my own highlights, lowlights, and toning my own hair color since 2020. I was kind of just looking into it again because I was kind of feeling lazy and I was just kind of curious what it would cost if somebody else did it for me. But after seeing those prices, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be doing this myself still for a while. The total cost of the materials I'm gonna be using today is under $20. I'll put those on the screen, but I'll also link to those other videos where I've already talked about hair color and the products I use a little bit more in depth. I just wanted to take a moment to show you guys where my hair is at currently. So it's been since September, so it's now April or May actually, so since I've highlighted it. So you can see just how much those highlights have grown out. And my hair is pretty long, so I think it sort of blends okay, the way that it sort of blends down, especially when I have it pulled back. But it is very clear that, you know, this is the part that's grown out and then comes the highlight part. It's a very clear division. When I'm in this situation, as I see it, I have two choices, and that is either I can do some new highlights, like basically extend my highlights up into my hair here, so the lighter part kind of matches with the upper part, or we can bring the dark color down and do a low light, and that way you sort of blend it again. It's just that you're doing it the other way around. So one of them would make my hair overall lighter and one of them would make my hair look sort of overall darker. So today I'm gonna be doing the low lighting. I have already done videos on the highlighting and then toning my hair, so I'll link those in the comments down below. If you guys haven't seen those ones yet, you can definitely check those out too. I would say of all the hair things I do at home myself on a regular basis, low lighting is probably the easiest thing to do yourself, and you have the least sort of room for error, maybe, I guess I would say. Anytime you're doing a hair DIY, please cover your surfaces that any hair color might get on. This stuff does stain, and I really haven't found any good way to get it out. Rules for covering things also goes to anything that you're wearing. You can see right here, I actually plastic wrapped the ends of my glasses. Actually, I don't even know if those are called ends of your glasses. What are those called? Arms of your glasses? I don't even know what that part of the glasses is called. Anyway, the part of my glasses that's not glass that I need to see through, I actually plastic wrapped to avoid getting dye on there. Again, this stuff stains. I'm wearing a white shirt that's already stained, so I don't care what gets onto it. And then I'm gonna be putting on some rubber gloves to avoid getting my hands stained. The materials other than the gloves I'm gonna be using today, I'm going to be using a container to mix my colors together. Make sure you have a plastic container. I'm just reusing an old yogurt one. By the way, this is the best kind of yogurt, but anyway, I am reusing it as a container for this. That way you can just throw it out after, because it will probably stain your bowl. You do not wanna use a metal bowl or a ceramic bowl. You can only use plastic or glass for this, and I'm just choosing plastic because that way I can use it single use. This comb with some kind of a fine end is going to be helpful in weaving through the hair, and then this brush is going to be what I use for mixing it up in this bowl. I have some hair clips that are going to help me section out my hair, and then these are the actual color products I'm using. So this is the color part, and then this is the activating lotion for this color product. So this is the Wella Demi permanent dye. So it's a demi-permanent hair color as opposed to a semi-permanent hair color. A semi-permanent one lasts you shorter than a demi-permanent one. I'm gonna put on the screen because I can't remember off the top of my head how long each of them last, how many hair washes they last. And then I just have a second extra bottle of the activating stuff right here because this bottle is almost empty. As you can see, I've used it before, and even the cap is stained from hair dye. So if I haven't emphasized it enough already, this stuff will stain. So I picked 5N, so the N stands for a neutral color. It says here that this corresponds to a light natural brown, but personally I don't feel like it's that light of a color. And you're gonna be using it in a 1:2 ratio, as it says right here. So 1 part of this to 2 parts of this. And the best way to measure that is actually going to be by weight. So I'm gonna use a kitchen scale to do that. Actually, I can't find my kitchen scale, but I've done this so many times that I kind of know what consistency I'm going for, but in general, you're gonna be looking for 1 part of this to 2 parts of this. So like 10 grams of this, and then 20 grams of this is the ratio that you'd be mixing it in. You don't wanna do 10 grams and 10 grams. That's not gonna work. You wanna do 10 grams and 20 grams. So you need twice as much of this mixed in with the weight of this one. The 5 on the bottle stands for the lightness or darkness of the color shade that we're picking. So the darkest hair color is going to be a 1, and then the lightest hair color is a 10. So basically the hairdresser people, somebody ranked hair colors from a relative lightness to a relative darkness. And so we're somewhere in the middle here with a 5. I think these colors run a little bit darker. Like I think my natural hair color is probably more of a 4 than a 5. Based on the scale as I've seen, but I know that the Wella Color Charm products seem to run a little bit darker. So like you need to almost like size up, except the equivalent of that in the colors. So like you need to size down by a number basically. So if you're going for like a 4 in darkness, go for a 5 in their products. So when I squeeze out the products, this is what it looks like. And then I'm gonna mix it all up in here. And the color immediately starts to develop. So once you have it mixed up, you do want to start working quickly. I've already adjusted my camera angle here so that you can see the top of my head and what I'm doing, so I don't waste more time on that. But you can see here the color is already starting to develop. So now what I'm going to do is use this comb to weave out a few pieces of my hair and then just put the dye on those pieces. That will give me kind of that like highlight effect in reverse, which is called a low light. So I'm going to show you guys the view from above of what it looks like when I'm doing this. I am not actually doing it. This is a reenactment because it was too difficult to do the hair dyeing as quickly as I needed to while I actually had the dye mixed. So you would weave your fine tip something through your hair like this, basically to pick out some smaller pieces. If you end up with some bigger pieces like back here, you can always make it a little bit finer if you don't want that much. And then this is the pieces that I would actually be painting. So I would be painting it like this with the dye. And then you want to run it all the way through and to the ends and then go like this to really make sure you saturate those ends. And then basically I would let the hair down, but that's the technique. I'll also pick up some pieces just like this, that's sort of more like a panel shape, and then go around the bottom edge here and then along the top edge and then sort of through the bottoms entirely, because that is the area that is generally the lightest. Around the front of the face here, I just sort of picked out some strands by hand that I went through and I just ran the product through it like this to kind of create some chunkier dark highlights, but it's all gonna blend well into my hair, so it's not that big of a deal. Now I'm gonna do the same thing from the bottom here. So this is how I go through and do some of the bottom pieces. I literally just dip my fingers in and pick out a few pieces and run it through my hair. And that works because this color is so close to my natural hair color. And you can already see where I spilled it here, how it's staining my skin. If you are really worried about staining your skin, you can put Vaseline around your hairline and then that will help prevent that. I'm not that worried about it because I'm not going anywhere crazy that matters in the next few days. Anyway, so we know that the color is already developing. It's a lot harder to see on your hair, but when you look right here and you look in the bowl, it's very clear that it's been developing. By the way, this is the same color mixture that I would use if I was doing a root shadow effect. So a root shadow effect is when you do like a little bit darker here on your roots on purpose. I can actually use up some of the leftover here and show you guys. So it'd be like if I do this right here. And another reason that a root shadow is helpful is when you accidentally get hot roots. You guys have all seen this, where it's like super blonde right here and then it's kind of like orangey in the rest of the strand. That means that your bleach didn't develop properly, or it developed faster right here because of the heat of your head. And so you ended up with it getting lighter here than the strand further down due to that heat of your head causing the reaction of the bleach to happen faster. So the way to kind of combat that or color correct that once that's happened to you is to do a root shadow effect, because there's no way to reverse bleach itself, but you can definitely cover it up with this. So that would be kind of the method there. So now I got 15, I can't do 15 with my hands, 15 minutes on the clock for waiting for rinsing this out. When I rinse it out, I'm just gonna be using plain water, not gonna be using any fancy shampoos or conditioner. Once I think I have it all out, which I can tell when the water in the sink under me runs clear, then I can go in with a conditioner, but you don't really want to be using a shampoo at this time because the color is still fresh in your hair and you want time for that color to really set in. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes, so I'm gonna be washing out my hair in the sink now. Like I said before, you're gonna keep rinsing until all the water under you runs clear. When you first start rinsing your hair, you're gonna start seeing a lot of that hair color, that brown color coming out of your hair. Then once you have it fully rinsed, you can get a conditioner and use it like you normally would, condition your hair. I also want to take this time to remember to ask you guys to like the video. When you like the video, you're basically saying this is a good video that YouTube should show to other people. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you see more of my videos in the future. In terms of cleanup, it's pretty straightforward. You can save any products that you didn't use. I still haven't even used up this tube, even though it's like my millionth time I feel like using it. You really don't need that much if you're just doing highlights and you're not coating all of your hair. And then I can throw this out. That's the beauty of reusing a yogurt container. And then I can wash out the brush to use for next time. All right, now I'm gonna go get the blow dryer. My hair is now fully dry, so I just wanted to take a moment to show you guys the final results. I think they turned out pretty good. You can see that there's just a little bit more darkness now in the lower pieces of hair, and that line where it was growing out is a lot more blended than it was before by doing that. You definitely still maintain sort of a highlighted look because of the fact that there are some lighter pieces in here still. So basically we now added in the darker pieces, and the lighter pieces that I already had are the things that look like highlights now, but that kind of keeps it still dimensional looking. It's not like I just dyed all my hair dark, which there's nothing wrong if you want to do that, but that was just not the look I was going for. I still wanted to kind of look like I had sun-kissed highlights, and I feel like we've kind of maintained that look while managing to still tone it down a little bit, both in terms of the overall color being a little bit darker, but also in terms of the temperature. It's a lot less brassy yellow and a little bit more like dusty brown is how I would describe this color. So let me now give you a few before and afters so you can really see the difference side by side. It is subtle, but it is a noticeable difference, at least to me. I'm also going to show you what this looks like now away from the direct sunlight. So before, all the before and after shots were taken right next to the window in more bright sunlight, but this is just sort of more regular room lighting, so you can see what it looks like there as well. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of my hair in the comments down below. I'm in desperate need of a haircut. I'm actually getting one later this week, so after this week, in a few days, I'm going to have freshly chopped hair and freshly colored hair. I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys think of my hair in the comments down below. I'm always interested to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions and questions. Obviously, I love talking about this stuff with you guys because I keep making videos about it. So don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions at all. As always, I just want to thank you so much for watching. Bye, YouTube.